Myles, try talking, you look like a place.
Okay, okay. You know, I was listening to her. So. Welcome guys to our new episode today. Today is going to be a discussion about gender-based violence. I have here two guests who are very passionate about combating gender-based violence in the society. The first guest is Wambui. You remember her, she was here last time. And we have Kate. I'll let them introduce themselves and let them say 1, 2 things about what they do. So we'll start with Kate. How are you, Kate?
Hi, my name is Ndegwa. I am a student leader in University of Nairobi. I am also the Kenya University Student Organization Ambassador and also the current University of Nairobi brand ambassador and the CEO of Voices Against Violence. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
My name is Mwangi, as you all know or may not know me. Mwangi, and I'm back here to discuss about gender-based violence, which I'm really passionate about. So yes, thank you for having me back again.
All right. Thank you, ladies, for coming. So we have been seeing a lot of, especially in the social media, so many things about gender-based violence in homes, between boyfriend and girlfriends, wives and husbands. So take us through this discussion today, even telling us what gender-based violence is. To you, Wambui.
Yeah. So I define it as any act that is perpetrated against a person's will and is based on gender norms and unequal power relationships. Yeah.
Okay. So let me ask, in your own point of view, like, have you ever dealt with any gender-based violence kind of case?
Yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kate?
Yes.
Especially for you, Kate.
Several.
Especially for you, Kate.
Yes.
Because you're in the university. These are young people, youth rather. So tell us the experience about gender-based violence, you seeing it with your eyes or hearing. So.
Well, at the university level, there are so many cases that are being reported to our initiative and also to the police. And also, even in the homes, especially with our situation in the lockdown, when we had in 2020, we had several cases that were administered in our initiative. We had many cases during the lockdown, especially at night, of husbands and wives, and so many children especially were reporting to us, telling us this is what our parents are doing, this is what is happening, and we'd help them to report it to the police, to the hotlines that are administered to us by the government, and also we have had several, of course, by the university students that we helped overall this time. Yes.
Okay. As a university student leader, how do you deal with these cases when they are brought to you? Or rather, even if someone comes and tells you, "Oh, this has happened." So, as a student leader, what do you do?
Well, at the leadership level, it is very crucial for you to help the students because they're looking up to you. So we give them the guidance that is administered, especially for us. Let's say for the University of Nairobi, we are privileged to have the central police station across our campus, so we can help them to go report these cases because it is near our police station is just near us. So we help them to, and even those who do not feel like it's safe for them, because there are those who do not feel the safety for our police station guys. We give them counseling, and at the end of the day, they are able to go to the police station and report their violators. At the same time, even as our organization has done, we have given them counselors that are friendly, that they're going to help them all through the way. They're going to hold their hand, and so far we've seen them recover, and they've been better. Yes.
To you, Wambui, to both of you rather, do you know any types of gender-based violence? Let's start with you, Wambui.
Yeah.
What are the type of gender-based violence that are there?
There's physical violence, sexual violence, emotional violence or psychological violence, and emotional violence. Yeah. And as young people, the main violence that we face is emotional violence, physical violence, and sexual violence. Yeah, and I feel like for us as young people, it's very hard for us to go through them, because we are not married to these people. Like, let's say in the sense of your boyfriend. Let's say your boyfriend comes and abuses you physically, sexually, or emotionally. It's very hard for you to tell your friends. They don't have, all of you are in the same level. You don't have as much knowledge. You can't go tell your parents, because there's no way you can go explain to them that your boyfriend, who's not your husband, has abused you. And it's very hard for you to, you don't have that much information for you to go report to the police, for you to go report to anyone rather. And also therapy, because when you're young, many times you don't have a source of income, so you can't go for therapy because therapy is quite expensive. You can't go for counseling because it's expensive, so you just keep it to yourself, and it haunts you for such a long time. Yeah.
So what are the example of the physical,
Yeah.
Not the physical, sorry, the emotional
Violence.
Can you explain to us an example of an emotional?
Emotional can take the form of someone abusing you with words, someone making you feel like you're less of a person, someone making you feel inferior, or you're not worthy to receive love, affection, or just to receive anything in general. Someone comes and calls you names, tells you a lot of things. Yeah.
So you've talked about emotional abuse. Can you give us an example of emotional abuse that are there?
So emotional abuse can take different forms. One of the forms is abusive language. Someone can come and tell you, oh, you're this, just insulting you in general, making you feel like you're less of a person, making you feel like you're not worthy of anything. That's basically emotional abuse. Yeah.
So do you know about both of you? Do you know about narcissistic behavior?
Yeah.
So what I can ask you guys, do you know about narcissistic behavior?
Yeah.
So can you identify it as an emotional abuse? Because these people are there.
Yeah.
And weirdly thing is that so many people have gone through narcissistic abuse. So for your kid, when you're doing in school, do ladies or men come forward to you talking about emotional abuse, or it's mostly the physical abuse that happens more?
Most of the time they come when the extremes have happened. They come that when the guys or the girls have physically abused them, whether beaten them to the point that they have blue eyes, that they are having hurt kidneys, or there are people who are really physical. At the same time, those people who have raped them. But before that happened, of course, the abuse, the emotional abuse has happened, that these people have abused them verbally. And that's where we give the education as an organization, and even as the universities give, that these people are supposed to be given education in the university level or college level, that how to take care of people who are narcissistic. When you see people who are verbally abusive, you take care. Or if they hit you as a joke. You have to take care, because those people eventually they're going to hit you hard, and they're going to creep on you, and they're going to say that they love you. That it's not true. And most of the time, we have grown up in a society that has taken abuse as a norm. That we have seen our parents or our parents' parents hitting, and you're like, this is normal. We are supposed to take it, because this is what a man is supposed to do. This is what a woman is supposed to do, so that they can take the trend, or they're going to take their supremacy to another level. Yeah, and when we take that down, we're going to see that these narcissistic people, they're going to go down, and we are going to have a better society, even as young people, because we are the young people who are going to take this society to another level. So the narcissistic people are everywhere. It's only for us to educate people that it's not right and it's not healthy. Yes.
And to add on that about narcissistic behavior, these people make you feel like you're the one who's on the wrong. So that's why it takes time for someone to notice or to report such behavior, because they tell you they hurt you, but then they make it your fault. They beat you, and then they tell you, but you're the one who made me beat you. And then they're like, but you know, like, I love you, I'm always here for you, I want the best interest for you. But in real sense, they're just covering up their act and making you feel. And at that time, you're vulnerable, so you actually feel it. I'm the one who's on the wrong, and that's why most people stay there and not helping you. But the best thing to do is just when you notice one form of red flag, the best thing to do is walk out.
Yeah.
And as much as it's hard, that's the best thing, because it might, as Kate has said, it might go really far as you losing your own life.
Because actually, I do agree with you about the narcissistic person, how they're actually very good at manipulation. So if you're really not careful, like whoever you're dealing with, there's so very many few things you can notice from a narcissistic person. I had done this interview before in my episodes about narcissistic abuse, the disorder itself. So like one thing is the manipulation. They're very good at manipulation and gaslighting. You know what gaslighting is, yeah? Yes. Those are the very key points that you should check out when you're dealing with a narcissistic person or a partner. Yeah. So if I can still ask you guys, which is more common to the young people? Is it the physical abuse, emotional abuse, or the sexual abuse? Which one is more?
I think I'd say all.
Mm-hmm.
All. Because we know a person starts by emotionally abusing you. You don't take it seriously. And then, like, I think, okay, from my perspective, they'll have abused you, and then they see, okay, it's not doing anything. Now let me throw punches, break their code. There's also that aspect of economic abuse, like destroying someone's property. They might take something you own and destroy it, and see, like, it may be a form of jealousy because you're talking to other people and they break it. And I feel like as young people we go through it because most partners are like jealous, so they see, okay, I've abused this person enough, okay, so let me go to the next step of maybe destroying this thing that's making them talk to other people, or let me destroy the physical appearance, but maybe people don't see them in this way, or
yeah. And I saw this somewhere that it is stated that the young people are the most misunderstood people, and I believe they are the most abused people, that emotionally, from all directions, from the elderly people, from the young people, they are emotionally abused from all directions. Then the sexually abused from whoever who wants to deal with them, because I mean, you are the most vulnerable person to take to, and you're the most misunderstood, so who cares? And physically also, I believe the young people are at the most dangerous place at all times. Yes.
All right. Still on the abuse, now let's talk about now the victims of gender-based violence. They go through trauma after this. So how do we deal with this trauma once you have been abused, either physically, emotionally? So how do you deal with this trauma?
Well, how we deal with this trauma is very crucial, because as much as we can do for the victims at that time, let's say 48 to 72 hours, is not enough for the damage that has been done by the violator. And most of the time, yes, counseling is done, but I believe as a person that has created a group that is an initiative against this violence, that support groups are more important than counseling. Not that it is not enough. It is important for them to go through counseling, but to be with people that have gone through the same gives them the comfort that I am not alone. That because the violence that they've gone through is very hard for only them to go through, and to go through with a counselor who may not understand, that has only learned on a medical part that it is important for you to talk to this person on this perspective, yeah. But when you have a support group for people who have gone through the same thing, and they are going to understand this is what I've gone through and this is how they are going to talk with each other, I believe support groups are supposed to be more in our universities, in our colleges, in our schools, and also in our initiatives, in our organizations. Because as long as you know you're not alone, it gives you the comfort that you need. Yeah.
Very true.
To you, Bobo.
Yeah, she said everything I wanted to say. Yeah, the support groups is really a big part, and it's something people should know. And I wish there were a lot, and they were put out to people for people to know. Because most people don't know about it, because you experience it and then you feel so bad because maybe a friend of yours hasn't gone through it, a family member hasn't gone through it. So you're just stuck there thinking you're alone, like bad things happen to you, you can't talk to anyone, so you just die there. And it may also lead to depression, which leads to suicidal thoughts, which later on leads to suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What of Kate, for example? Okay, let me ask you, since you're still in school and you're a student leader, do men approach you when they have been abused by their either girlfriend or just a friend lady? They approach you, or the men prefer to do it themselves?
Well, because of the society that we have, it is very rare to see men open up. But I'm glad that several, but to say the least, very few men are able to cite their concerns that I have been abused, I have been beaten by my girlfriend, I have been forced to this act by my girlfriend. To say the least, I have only seen 2 to 3 people that have said this situation has happened to them. And it's very sad, because the society that we live in has caused the men to believe that men do not cry, men do not, they have to suffer in pain, they should suffer in pain because they are men, and it is very sad. But to say the least, the society that we have now seen is trying to open up. It's trying to say that men can do this. Men also go through this thing. Men have gone through sexual assault, and it is not a shame that it does happen to men also. We have seen it several times. I have seen it through our blogs, through the people who have approached me, that men are just like us. They are vulnerable too, yeah. And we need to make an open mind for the society, for the young people, because also young people are ridiculing these men.
Yeah.
They are saying that they are sissies, they are less of men. True. And it is not true, because them themselves, those that are talking about it, somehow they are trying to cover up. Some of them, I'm not saying all of them, some of them are covering up of what they've gone through, maybe in their childhood, maybe in their adulthood. They don't want people to know that they've gone through it. And they're trying to put the thick skin for themselves. And it is such a sad situation. But true, men have come through, but very few, of course, than women and those in disability situations. And we are trying to help them to get through the situation.
All right. So, are there laws that protect the victims of gender-based violence?
First and foremost, there's a Constitution of Kenya, and then there's the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act 2015, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so especially the Protection Against Domestic Violence Act, it outlines the repercussions and the guidelines that are there when these things happen, and it protects both genders, not just women, both men and women.
As we conclude now this topic, any advice you can tell any victim out there who has survived the gender-based violence, or anyone who's going through these things, the signs that they can see? You can just tell our viewers one or two things.
So the first and foremost, if you're still there, walk out. I know it's hard to like let go or just walk out, but for you to avoid like negative things and bad things and fatal things, just leave and walk out. And then just talk to someone, because you can never, this thing is hard, this thing is very hard. You can't deal with it alone. As much as you think you can deal with it alone, you can't. Talk to someone, seek counseling. There are certain hotlines that you talk to us more about them. There are certain hotlines that are there that you can call at any time. No?
Yes.
You can call at any time, and they can help. They can come to your rescue. Yeah.
Yeah, and as she has said about the hotlines, one, let me talk about that. One, never be ashamed of what has happened to you, because it's not your fault, and you're not alone. There's so many people who have gone through the same, and we are here to help. And at the same time that we are here, I'm going to post about the national line that has been given out to us to help counseling throughout the country. For the children has always been 116. For adults it has always been 1190. That is for adults, at the same time as women. For the men it is 1195. And it is good for you to talk to these people, because they are professional counselors, and they are also professional in all that they do. They're going to help you for free. And feel free to get to us as Voices Against Violence, as an initiative. We are always here for you, and we love you, and we appreciate who you are. Whatever that has happened to you, that you're not alone. Yes.
And I have a question. So, yes, I'm a victim, and it's happened. The abuse has happened at that time. So I call this hotline. What am I expected? Like, what am I to expect from the hotline?
The hotline, as expected, one, they are to calm you down. They are to tell you what to do forward. And if you're in the situation that is happening, they're going to tell you what to do next. And if it's a crucial situation, it's preferable that you call the police first, then the hotline next, so that the police may come forward first, and then the hotline people are going to come next, because most of the time they might not be situated at the same place that you are. They are going to help you emotionally first, but those that are going to be physically there first are the police people. So police may come first, but the hotline people are going to give you the comfort that you need, because they are counselors that are experts. And at the same time, when they are helping you, they are going to give you yes, they are going to give you the comfort. At the same time, they are going to give you several checkups. They are going to call you several times to see if you are going to be fine, and it's a comforting time for you, so that you may feel that someone cares, someone is there, someone loves you, and someone supports you even in this time. They don't judge you, whatever the situation that has happened to you. But the police are also an important task, that you're supposed to contact them first, and then the hotline people next. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to both of you, ladies. That was very interactive, and I'm sure our viewers have gotten 1, 2, 3 things from you guys. So guys, I hope you have learned something. And for the gents out there who experience gender-based violence, please talk about it. There's no shame about it. Reach out to me, reach out to any one of them. We'll put the details out there. So don't feel ashamed, there's no one here to judge you. No one has a right to judge as of now. And also, this is something that you can avoid. The gender-based violence is something we can all avoid when we see the red flags. So to both our viewers, which are male and female, kindly be on the lookout on the red flags that you may see happening in your home, with your spouse, with your partner, with your boyfriend or girlfriend. And once you see those red flags, you just get out of that relationship. Is it that right, guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So remember to be safe and take care of yourselves. See you guys next time. Thank you.